Hi everyone, this is Anthony Fritchley, known as Anthony Fritchley 2003 on my YouTube channel here, and this is going to be a second time doing a TV show review, that is. So today's TV show review is called Boohbah. And if you don't know what Boohbah really is, you guys, it was actually similar to Teletubbies. It's actually the same makers from the Teletubbies. And there are actually 5 Boohbahs. And they look the same except the colors are different. So yeah. And I'll tell you what the Boohbahs are. The Boohbahs are actually the Boohbahs are actually the 5 weird aliens, which are kinda, well, some people think they're creepy if they saw the Boohbahs. Which I know some other people don't like Boohbah so much, but there are some other people who like Boohbah. But I like Boohbah because it's part of my childhood. So yeah. And the characters of the Boohbahs are Humba, Zumba, Zing Zing Zingba, Jumba, and Jingba. And I remember they live in the Boo Ball. And during the intro, they usually have their country, and the kids were dancing with the Boo Balls. But the only theme song they said is just saying Boohbah only. They said Boohbah. Yep. And yeah, I do like Boohbah with loving passion. But if you guys hate Boohbah, I respect your opinion. If you never heard what Boohbah is, if you've never seen that show, I hope you like the show. But if you don't like it, if you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. So yeah. And Boohbahs like to do their exercising and their dancing, and they like to do their patterns. They like to do their different shapes of the Boohbahs. Excuse me. And Humba and Zumba, Zing Zing Zingba, Jumba, Jingba, the differences are all the different colors of the Boohbahs. Humba is yellow, Zumba is purple, Zing Zing Zingba is orange, Jumba is blue, and Jingba, well, it's kind of like red or pinkish. Well, it's kind of more like a magenta color. And they kind of look a little sparkly. Well, they usually do their newer, popular design with a lot of sparkling stuff back in 2004. Back in almost close to the mid-2000s. Which Boohbah came out in 2003, but aired on PBS Kids in 2004. So yeah. And not only they have the Boohbahs, you guys, they also have, I remember when the kids were giving to the story people, and after that whatever that thing that going up, look like a paper, like you use the flag, like a weird looking ribbon going up, and then a present appeared, and then shows a present, and then say a present for story people. And I'll tell you what the present for story people is. And they're kind of like the real live action people, except one animal, which is the dog. So yeah. And the characters on the story people is Grandmama, Grandpapa, Mrs. Lady, Mr. Man, brother and sister, auntie, and little dog Fido. Those are the characters, those are the story people on the Boohbahs. Not only they're just Boohbahs, there's also the story people, which is Grandmama, Grandpapa, Mrs. Lady, Mr. Man, brother, sister, auntie, and little dog Fido. And on that, during that Boohbah story people, they don't really talk. It's similar like Mr. Noodle from Elmo's World. So yeah. And Grandpa reminds me of Mr. Noodle. Mr. Noodle's brother, Mr. Noodle. So yeah. And on the original series of Boohbah, it was actually, on any of the Boohbah episodes in the UK, it's actually mostly 20 minutes. on every episodes. But on PBS Kids broadcast version, it was actually an extended version of Boohbah because of the Look What I Can Do, PBSKids.org bumper, extra dance ending. As a matter of fact, I know they have the Boohbah Look What I Can Do, but and not only they have the actual series of Boohbah on that, there's also Look What I Can Do. They're kind of like their kids are exercising, do what they can do, the kids, so they can do what they can do. So yeah. And the Boohbahs, like when they doing their ending stuff, they like to go back to the Boohbah and return to the ending part. But in the US version of the PBS Kids broadcast version, they usually decide to do their more stuff. They do some more things. Like, it's the extended version of Boohbah on the US version. It's called Look What I Can Do and extra dance endings. As a matter of fact, those US versions of Boohbahs are starting to get very hard to find, because when Boohbah took off the air, those US versions got expired. The Boohbah Look What I Can Do segments for US version are very hard to find. I remember Boohbah did had DVD releases, which are PBS Kids Home Video series, which I have all my Boohbah DVDs. So yeah. And the Boohbahs, well, I remember the first time I see Pac-Man ghosts from Pac-Man, these reminds me of Boohbahs, so, in my opinion. So yeah. When I was a child, when I see Pac-Man ghosts, I thought they were Boohbahs, but they're actually Pac-Man ghosts. So yeah. They cut. So yeah. So yeah. I know who produced Boohbah, which is same thing who made Ragdoll Productions, same thing who did Teletubbies, her name is Ann Wood. Ann Wood, who did the Ragdoll Production, who made Rosie and Jim, Tots TV, Brum, Pop Programming, Teletubbies, and Boohbah, and recently I believe it's the Twirly-Woos. So yeah. Which I never seen the Twirly-Woos and Pop's Programming or Brum. And I don't sure if I seen the Tots TV, but I did see Rosie and Jim though, which Rosie and Jim is kind of like their two ragdoll ones. But I'm not talking about Rosie and Jim. I'm talking about Boohbah. Boohbah is probably actually there are 5 characters on the Boohbahs. They do their present giving, and when the story people gets a little upset, or if there's nothing they can do, the kids say Boohbah, and they always thanks for the kids who does their helping. So yeah, and usually when they do their Boohbah stuff, they make presents for the story people, and after the story people, they do their dancing stuff. But in the beginning of the part before the story people, they doing their exercising stuff. Mostly on Boohbahs, like on the actual one, they usually do their exercising, and after the story people, they do the dancing, and then after when they freeze and say Boohbah, and they do they're coming back to do closing time. On the original version of Boohbah, after the dance, and return to the Boohbah, it goes to the end credits. But in the US, on the PBS broadcast version, but it used to Look What I Can Do segment and extra dance ending. And I remember when the story people introduction in the original version, it was the UK, when kids sang in the UK, but in the US version, that's when children say differently in the United States on the American version of Boohbah. So yeah, I gotta say that the Boohbahs are a pretty good show for my childhood. And I couldn't show you what Boohbahs are. They kind of look weird. Well, some people think they're creepy, but I'll say they're pretty cute. All the Boohbahs' eyes are brown. They look similar to real people. They're not like aliens. And Boohbahs kind of sound like they're farting, but they sound like, or a Boohbah sounds like this. And the Boohbahs do not talk at all. And then the kid who sang Boohbah. So yeah, I gotta say that Boohbah is a pretty good show. So yeah, I think that's all I got for a TV show review. I'm not sure what TV show review I'm guessing. I'm guessing either Sesame Street or Gabby's Dollhouse. I don't know. Thanks for watching.